A very good morning, everyone. On behalf of Florafauna Science Foundation and FFDC Kannauj, I and Manika welcome you all to this very invigorating and enlightening forum of Florafauna Innovation Summit 2023 on the theme Krishi Se Khushi. FFIS is an annual summit where we aim to bridge the gap between the society and technology through finding excellence in innovators, entrepreneurs, and core researchers with a vision to create Prasanna Bharat, a bright and happy India where the ecology and economy are in sync. It will be a day-long program comprising of innovation and theme lectures, presentation by participants, interactive sessions with expert panel covering various aspects relating to agriculture, health, and nutrition. All in all, a day worth looking forward to. We are very fortunate and delighted to have the gracious presence of highly esteemed Dr. V. Prakash, former Director, CSIR CFTRI, and a very accomplished and distinguished scientist as our chief guest today. We are pleased to have Professor S.P.S. Kannauj, Founder Chairman, Florafauna Science Foundation, and Dr. S.V. Shukla, Director, FFDC Kannauj, here with us. Joining us, we also have our team members from across the domains and a very enthusiastic learners here today. And just as importantly, the participants who have joined us today from across the nation and watching us live on social media platforms. So without further ado, we would like to begin our session with the theme talk of Krishi Se Khushi by Professor S.P.S. Kannauj, Founder Chairman, Florafauna Science Foundation and President of Skies India. As we all know him, he has been the director.
Manika, I'd like to interrupt. We have first the welcome address by Mr. Shakti Shukla, and then I will.
We would like to, if you can say 2 words and just start.
Okay.
Yeah. So please, I'll invite you to the platform, and if you can just start with the happiness.
Sure. Namaskar. आप सभी को प्रणाम, अभिनंदन. A very warm welcome to Florafauna Science Foundation platform, which we annually meet as Innovation Summit, or with year we qualify that as which one is it? So this time it is FFIS 2023. And as you all know that we have an annual theme every year, which continues whole year through web series and many events. And this time it has been Krishi Se Khushi, which implies that how do we bring happiness in lives of people through agriculture or through farming. And when we want to do it, then as I always say on various platforms, and I like to reiterate that it is ecology and economics. And therefore, I call it eco-agriculture, which goes along with the environment without charging too much on the planet, and also giving incomes to those who practice it. And that has to be enabled with science. And that enabling is when we link organizations, institutes, universities, students with farmers, villages, scholars, and entrepreneurs, and search the innovators who can make the difference. So with that, when we start doing it, we culminate every year with this summit. And let me tell you that the summit concept I learned from our chief guest today, Dr. V. Prakash, who started once in early when Millennium started, almost at that time, Nutra Summit, and I was a part of it. He told me you have to be a part of it, and I always remained till he, kept on organizing that. And I found that the way that summit is held, the society, the scientists, the industry, and many other stakeholders come together on platform, and many things start getting translated. The only difference now that we have with our summit, which is Florafauna Summit or Innovation Summit here, is this has a basic ground in villages. And from villages, as you know, villages means both farm and non-farm sectors. And in farm, जो गांव के खेत हैं, खेत की जो पगडंडियां हैं वही रास्ता दिखाती हैं। तो उस रास्ते पर चलते हुए हम कहाँ विज्ञान से जुड़ेंगे, किस तरीके से प्रौद्योगिकी को उन्हीं पगडंडियों पे ले आएंगे कि किसान खुश होकर कहे कि हाँ, आज मेरे जीवन में एक परिवर्तन आया है। तो इस सोच के साथ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। मैं अपना व्याख्यान बाद में दूंगा, जिसको थीम लेक्चर कहते हैं, कृषि से खुशी पर। लेकिन अभी मैं चाहूंगा कि जो हमारे मेन कोलैबोरेटर और फ्रेंड इंस्टीट्यूशन है FFDC, फ्लेवर एंड फ्रेग्रेंस डेवलपमेंट सेंटर, जो कि MSME मिनिस्ट्री के अंतर्गत आता है, उसके निदेशक आज इस समय मौजूद हैं, श्री शक्ति शुक्ला जी। मैं इनको शक्ति ही बोलता हूँ, और वो शक्ति ये हमें भी प्रदान करें। वी आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दैट। So I'll invite Mr. Shukla to give his welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Kannauj. Thanks for inviting us and collaborating with us for this Florafauna Innovation Summit 2023. Though it was planned to be at Kannauj offline, but we could not able to do due to some of the construction constraints, and that's why we are having it online. Sir, it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. V. Prakash, a well-known person, scientist into this field. I know him when I started my career at FFDC, and for the first time when he called me for delivering an invited lecture at IFCON 98 at CFTRI Mysore. Prior to that, I've been that institute for getting a training in sensory sciences as well. During that time, I also interacted and learned a lot from him. So having him after nearly 25 years, again, it's really a matter of a privilege and proud for me for getting a chance to welcome Dr. V. Prakash, which is a well-known person across not only across the country, but across the globe. Flora and Fauna Foundation has been working a lot into this field. And as a part of that, they have been organizing a number of lectures. Even I've been there in the past. A number of industrialists has been there into the past, and I'm really happy that this year we have been selected to do it. And so, on the behalf of Flora and Fauna Summit Foundation, on behalf of FFDC, my entire team, and my ministry, I welcome Dr. V. Prakash to this Flora and Fauna Innovation Summit 2023. And I am sure that we all will be going to get benefited from his knowledge and his blessings to all of us. Dr. Prakash, a warm welcome to you in this Flora Fauna Innovation Summit. Namaskar, sir.
Thank you, sir. And now I'll request Professor FFS Kannauj, Founder Chairman at FFSF and President of Skies India, for his talk. As we all know, he had been the director of CSIR CMAP. He's a fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences and National Academy of Sciences, and has a passion for translational science. So with this brief introduction, may I request Professor FFS Kannauj for his theme lecture now. Sir, I would ask you to unmute. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Manika. Thank you for introducing me to all the participants and setting the tone right in the direction of Khushi, which has to come from Krishi. तो आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार, प्रणाम, अभिनंदन। और वो सभी लोग जो कृषि से जुड़े हैं, वो सभी लोग जो विज्ञान से जुड़े हैं, वो उद्यमी, वो रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स, वो वैज्ञानिक जो आज इस मंच में जुड़े हैं फ्लोराफोना इनोवेशन समिट में, उन सभी का स्वागत। मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि ये मंच किसान, विज्ञान, ज्ञान और विद्वान का एक संगम है, एक अनूठा संगम है, जिसमें वो लोग जो समाज से जुड़े विद्वान हैं, वो सभी जो उद्यमिता या नवाचार, जिसे इनोवेशन कहते हैं, उससे जुड़े हैं, चाहे वो गांव में हो चाहे शहर में हो। वो जो नई पीढ़ी है रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स की, स्टूडेंट्स की, विद्यार्थियों की, जो आगे कुछ नया करना चाहते हैं, वो भी आज हमसे जुड़े हैं। और उनके सुपरवाइजर्स या गाइड्स जो कि वैज्ञानिक हैं, बहुत उनमें से बड़े प्रख्यात वैज्ञानिक हैं जिन्होंने अपने स्कॉलर्स को यहाँ भेजा है। और इंडस्ट्री या उद्योग से जुड़े सभी लोग जो प्लांट्स और एग्रीकल्चर और कृषि से जुड़े हैं, वो सभी इस मंच का एक हिस्सा है, एक ऐसा हिस्सा है जिससे हम आगे बढ़ पाते हैं। और आप सभी का साथ हमेशा हमेशा हमारे साथ होता है, इसलिए हम नए नए थीम लेकर आपके आगे प्रस्तुत होते हैं। जस्ट जो लोग पहली बार हमसे जुड़ रहे हैं उनको मैं बताना चाहूँगा कुछ थीम जो हमने पहले किए हैं। खेत से सेहत का पहला थीम, जिसमें हम इस बात को आगे लेकर चले थे कि किस तरीके से कृषि से एक स्वस्थ सेक्टर में काम हो सकता है, हाउ एग्रीकल्चर कैन कंट्रीब्यूट टुवर्ड्स द हेल्थ सेक्टर। And it was very good deliberations and outcome that had come, which we also recommended to various policymakers, and also summarized that in one of our magazines, which comes twice a year, called Florafauna. तो खेत से सेहत जो था उससे हमने एक थीम जब दिया तो लोगों की मांग आई कि इसी तरीके से अगर हम थीमेटिक वे में चलेंगे तो इट विल डेफिनेटली बी वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर एवरीवन। तो हमने दूसरा जो उससे अगले वर्ष का थीम रखा, उसका नाम था पोषण से रोशन, empowerment through nutrition. So that theme also worked very well, and we had industry, we had researchers, we had farmers, everyone joined with enthusiasm. बड़े उत्साह के साथ सभी लोग जुड़े और उसको भी एक बड़ी अच्छी सक्सेस मिली। पूरा साल उसमें वेब सीरीज में कुछ ऐसे व्याख्यान हुए जो जिन्होंने लाभान्वित किया उनको, जो आगे उद्यमी बनना चाहते हैं। सो साइंस enabling not only farmers to do farming, but farmers becoming entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs becoming industry. That is the route that we are following. और इस वर्ष का जो थीम हमने रखा वो उसी से सोच के समझ के जो उसकी रिकमेंडेशंस आती रही उसके बेसिस पे रखा कि कृषि से खुशी। और उसका एक और भी कारण था कि जब हमारे पिछले 2 समिट्स में, पहले समिट जिसमें खेत से सेहत था, डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ ICAR डॉक्टर त्रिलोचन महापात्रा जुड़े थे, और पिछले में CSIR के डायरेक्टर जनरल या महानिदेशक डॉक्टर शेखर मांडे जुड़े थे। तो उनकी सोच भी हमने इसमें सम्मिलित की और हमने जो अपना मिशन बनाया था, जो सभी ने उसकी सराहना की कि हम एक प्रसन्न भारत का लक्ष्य लेकर चलना चाहते हैं फ्लोराफोना साइंस फाउंडेशन द्वारा। तो उस प्रसन्न भारत में अगर कृषि प्रसन्न हो जाएगी, if in happy India farming can bring happiness, then no one can stop a happy India. And happiness will come through what we do and what we earn. क्योंकि मेरा ये मानना है कि कोई भी गतिविधि आर्थिकी के बिना गतिविधि रह ही नहीं सकती। Any activity, if it is not economically viable, will not continue for long. वो एक फैशन हो सकता है, वो एक टर्मिनोलॉजी हो सकती है, लेकिन आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएगी। So with that, when we started analyzing ourselves, introspection, that what should be done, we found that in agriculture there are so many terminologies coming. तरह तरह की टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं, कुछ मार्केटिंग से प्रेरित हैं, कुछ पॉलिटिक्स से प्रेरित हैं, कुछ और कारणों से प्रेरित हैं। तो हमने उसको साइंस से प्रेरित एक थीम दिया, इट शुड बी इको एग्रीकल्चर। अब इको ECO में एक इको है, उसकी आवाज वापस आती है। तो अगर आप इकोनॉमिक्स बोलेंगे तो वहां से वापस आवाज आपको आएगी इकोलॉजी, एनवायरनमेंट। और अगर आप इकोलॉजी बोलेंगे तो आवाज आएगी इकोनॉमिक्स। अगर इकोनॉमिक्स नहीं है तो इकोलॉजी कैसे होगी? तो प्लेनेट के सर्वाइवल के लिए दोनों आवश्यक हैं। और ये अगर हम कृषि के अंग बना देंगे, तो इफ वी मेक इकोलॉजी एंड इकोनॉमिक्स एज एसेंशियल कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, एग्रीकल्चर will bring happiness because there will be incomes, there will be good life transformations. People will move from kacha house to pakka house. People will have their children getting education. People will have 3 meals a day, which will be nutritious, and they all will be metabolically happy. And once we are metabolically happy, we actually have our brain and heart telling, yes, we are happy. So उस रास्ते पर हम चलते हुए जब रास्ता ढूंढ रहे थे, तो जैसा मैंने पहले कहा कि हम गांव की पगडंडियों पर पहुंच गए। गांव में खेतों से भी पगडंडियां जाती हैं और उनके घरों के पास से भी पगडंडियां जाती हैं, जिसको ट्रेल्स कहते हैं हम इंग्लिश में। उन ट्रेल्स पे व्हेन वी वॉक ऑन दोस ट्रेल्स ऑफ द विलेजेस, वी लर्न ए लॉट। तो फ्लोराफोना साइंस फाउंडेशन एक लर्नर्स की अकादमी है। दिस इज एन अकेडमी ऑफ लर्नर्स हु हैव joined together from various parts of society, right from science to lawyers to CAs to industry to entrepreneurs, students, scientists, and youth who are searching job and so on. So वो grassroots level की innovations को हम ढूंढते हैं किसानों के साथ। आज की भी आप जब खोज सेशन में पहुंचेंगे तो आप देखेंगे कि वहाँ 2 बड़े अच्छे किसान अपना उद्यमिता कैसे उन्होंने स्थापित की अपनी एक प्रेजेंटेशन देंगे। तो इस नई सोच के साथ जब हम इन गांव को कुछ नाम देना चाहते हैं, तो हमने इसको नाम दिया ई विलेज, जो कि हमारा मिशन है। ई विलेज का मतलब एंटरप्रेन्योरियल विलेज, उद्यमी गांव। तो उद्यमी गांव बनाने के लिए ई के कई मतलब निकल सकते हैं। ई एक तो एंटरप्रेन्योरियल हो गया, लेकिन उसी के साथ साथ इकोनॉमिकल भी चाहिए, इकोलॉजिकल भी चाहिए, एफिशिएंट भी चाहिए, एजुकेटेड भी चाहिए, एम्पावर्ड भी चाहिए, एनेबल्ड भी चाहिए। इस तरीके से हमने इस ई को चुना है कि इस ई में इतनी सकारात्मकता है, इतनी पॉजिटिविटी है, that this positivity of E excellence can bring us towards our aim. So doing that, following the route of eco-agriculture, talking of economics and ecology, where we now have started talking of no waste. We believe that whatever nature produces, but whatever agriculture farm produces, nothing of that is waste. जो भी एक खेत से पैदा होती है कोई पैदावार, उसमें सिर्फ वो वाला हिस्सा उपयोग में लाना कि जैसे बीज है या उसका फ्रूट है, फल है या सब्जी है, बाकी पूरा हिस्सा फेंक देना एज बायोमास एक मूर्खता के अलावा कुछ नहीं होगा। तो हमें विद्वान बनना है और उसमें ढूंढना है कि क्या हो सकता है। तो आप पाएंगे कि तरह तरह के जो हम हिस्से पौधे के फेंक देते हैं या इवन जो एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में भी फेंक देते हैं, उनसे कई प्रोडक्ट बनाए जा सकते हैं, उत्पाद बनाए जा सकते हैं। तो हम नहीं मानते कि खेती बीज से बीज है। वी डोंट बिलीव दैट एग्रीकल्चर इज फ्रॉम सीड टू सीड और सीड टू राइजोम और राइजोम टू राइजोम एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट। दैट इज जस्ट ए पार्ट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर. We have to think in terms of how do we do value addition in agriculture. If we start doing value addition, we will not have to wait for minimum support price and things like that. We will be making agriculture as something which everyone would like to follow. And that is what we try to bring from institutions to the farmers through this route. And that obviously brings us that kheti does not end with harvesting. It is post-harvest technology or post-harvest value addition which becomes very important. One of the things that emerges as an opportunity from agriculture, and that is a main component, is food. So food can bring happiness is going to be our innovation lecture also today by Dr. Prakash. But in addition to that, we have to now start thinking perspectives of food. So if those of you who had attended my last session, which I had in the web series with you, was future foods. And in future foods, what we are talking, and that I had particularly dedicated to the students and scholars or young researchers who can take it up, along with the entrepreneurs who have to be the sons and daughters of the farmers. Since the land is shrinking, they can do in a smaller area those type of things. So in future foods, we talked about landless agriculture. We talked about plantless agriculture also, जिसको अब cell agriculture कहा जाता है. So in cell agriculture, you can produce meat, you can produce protein, you can produce so many things, which will be exactly what nature produces. You have learned from nature and you are doing that through bioreactor type of system. and therefore you don't even need land. Solar protein एक ऐसा जिसका मैंने एक उदाहरण उस समय दिया था, सोलिन कहते हैं उसको, यूरोपियन जो फूड एजेंसी है, EFSA बोलते हैं उसको, उन्होंने उसको अप्रूवल दे दिया है एज ए फूड। और वो क्या है, वो एक फर्मेंटेशन या प्रिसीजन फर्मेंटेशन बोलते हैं जिसके द्वारा उसको बनाया जाता है। So that means we can make very specific nutritional elements which are lacking in our food, and because of that we have malnutrition in India. We can overcome it, and then the income that can be generated, या जिसको हम कहते हैं रिटर्न जो होता है, जितना भी हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है ROI, रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट, वो बड़ा हाई हो जाता है। So we can have seeds and grains, we can have fruits and vegetable, we can have leaves and floral parts, we can have eggs and meats, we can have fish or other like honeybee and mushrooms and so on, but उनमें भी वैल्यू एडिशन हो सकता है। तो वो वैल्यू एडिशन किस तरह कैसे होएगा, किस किस तरीके के फूड फॉर्मेट्स आ सकते हैं, इसमें हमने एक चर्चा की थी जिसमें लोगों ने काफी इंटरेस्ट दिखाया था। और हमने एक एग्जांपल भी लिया था ऑयल पाम का, जिसमें we are seeing that how oil palm plantations are making the forests to shrink, and therefore many animals will have to adjust in a smaller area, and therefore they will start perishing. So how can we take care of that through algal sources was something discussed, and that's what I would like that in future also we should be thinking of जो microbial diversity है which is invisible to us, जो हमारे लिए अदृश्य है, हम देख नहीं सकते, इतने सूक्ष्म जीवी इतने छोटे होते हैं, लेकिन वो इतने कमाल की चीजें कर सकते हैं जो एक उद्योग का कारण बन सकता है और नए नए खाद्य पदार्थ आ सकते हैं। तो माइक्रोब्स आपके प्लांट्स को रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं, प्लांट्स आपके एनिमल्स को रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं, सोलर फूड आपके प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स और माइक्रोब्स सबको रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं। सेल एग्रीकल्चर एक इस तरीके का तरीका हो सकता है जिससे हम कह सकते हैं कि हम हवा से और लाइट से भोजन बना सकते हैं। When we say that, it does not mean कि we should forget our ancient wisdom. जो प्राचीन काल की जो विद्वत्ता है, जो wisdom है, which comes from our ancient knowledge is equally important. और उसका आज आप एक प्रभाव भी देख रहे हैं। Now 2023 is International Year of Millets. हम मिलेट्स से शुरू हुए थे, मिलेट्स पे वापस पहुंचे हैं। तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम इवोल्यूशन से बैक इवोल्यूशन की तरफ जा रहे हैं, अब हमें मिलेट्स को इवॉल्व करना है। तो उसमें क्या क्या हो सकता है, किस तरीके के फूड हो सकते हैं जिनको हम आगे लेकर चल सकते हैं। एंड आई रिमेम्बर एंड एग्री विद डॉक्टर प्रकाश दैट देयर इज नो टर्मिनोलॉजी विच शुड बी जंक फूड, क्योंकि या तो ये जंक हो सकता है या फूड हो सकता है, फूड कैन नॉट बी जंक। दैट्स व्हाट ही इंसिस्ट एंड आई फुली एग्री एंड सपोर्ट दैट जंक तो हम क्रिएट करते हैं, फूड इज नॉट जंक। तो किस तरीके से हम वो फास्ट फूड या कन्वीनियंट फूड जिसको एक जंक फूड का नाम दे दिया गया उसको हेल्दी बना सकते हैं। हाउ कैन वी मेक हेल्दी स्नैक्स, हाउ कैन वी हैव इंडल्जेंस, हाउ कैन वी हैव पार्टीज बट स्टिल बी हेल्दी। So those type of thinking then can give us very good export value also in addition to high value products. So millet ki re-emergence of millets is telling us that ancient foods or ancient grains can be future generation food products which will be totally novel, and we can create so much of it. And when I go to villages, Dr. A.K. Singh, who is our vice president, keeps going, almost every week to villages and searches those people who are doing such innovations, जो कि एक नवाचार कर रहे हैं अपने गांव स्तर पर, उनको आगे लेकर आते हैं। और ये एक बड़ा योगदान है डॉक्टर सिंह का इस हमारे लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने के लिए। तो मैं यही कहूंगा कि नई कृषि, नई सोच, नए आयाम, इससे आएगी खुशी। और इस कृषि को हम एक तरफ आहार की ओर लेके जाएंगे जहां स्वास्थ्य का सोच होगी, स्वास्थ्य के सोच वाले आहार। दूसरी ओर उससे इस तरीके के प्रोडक्ट्स बनाए जाएं जो फार्मास्यूटिकली इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं, इंडस्ट्रियली इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं, एरोमेटिकली इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं, फ्लेवर्स, खुशबू भी आ सकती है, रंग भी आ सकता है। आपके पास वो वाले इंग्रेडिएंट जो किसी फूड फॉर्मेट को बनाने के लिए चाहिए वो आ सकते हैं। हमारे जो बेसिक नीड्स ऑफ लाइफ हैं वो भी मीट हो सकती हैं। और हाई इकोनॉमिक्स, आर्थिकी का स्तर हम उठा सकते हैं, और उसको उठाते हुए जब हम चलेंगे, हम कहेंगे कृषि से खुशी संभव है। तो इन शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देना चाहूंगा। आई विल स्टॉप हियर so that we listen to the chief guest and very well renowned scientists of India, Dr. V. Prakash. His innovation lecture. But before that, request Dr. Neetu to formally introduce Dr. Prakash.
A very good morning to you all. It's a huge privilege for me to introduce our esteemed chief guest for this Florafauna Innovation Summit today. He's, as told by Sir, a very well-known scientist and a very humble personality, Dr. Vishwadeshwar Prakash, well known as Vish Prakash. He is former director of CFTRI Mysore in India and a distinguished scientist of CSIR India, and is immediate past president of IUFST from 2020 to 2022. PhD from University of Mysore, working at CFTRI in 1976. He spent 2 years in Texas Medical Center as postdoctoral in Baylor College of Medicine, Houston, Texas, USA. Research associate at Biochemistry Department, Brandeis in Medicine, Houston, USA, a research associate at Biochemistry Department, Brandeis University at Waltham, Massachusetts, USA, and also visiting research professor at Brandeis University for 3 years from 1989 to 1992. He has served as Vice President of International Union of Nutritional Sciences, IUNS, for 8 years, 2013 to 2022. He served the United Nations University as coordinator at CFTRI Mysore from 1994 to 2011. He is member of numerous scientific publishers, boards of books and journals, former chairman of India Region of European Hygienic and Engineering Design Group, EHEDG in Germany. He has served as chair of research councils of number of R&D and R&I institutions and academia during his tenure of 52 years of scientific career. He steered the food regulations policies in India in several areas of food safety and was chairman of regulatory aspects of nutraceuticals and nutritionists at FSSAI India as he formulated regulations for it and got it through gazette level with pursuance. India's one of the highest civilian awards for science and technology and engineering area, Padma Shri, was awarded to him in 2004, and the highest scientific award of India, Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award in 1996, are a few awards to cite. Besides that, he has won nearly 65 national and international awards and lifetime achievement awards from many organizations, nationally and globally. He has 290 peer-reviewed research publications in area of food science and technology and nutritional sciences and chemistry of foods and nutraceuticals and food for mind and food aspects. He has published 20 books and has another 15 in pipeline. He has guided more than 30 PhDs and masters for their degrees, has 55 patents to his credit and 960 chief guest addresses and convocation and keynote addresses till 2022. Dr. Prakash is an elected fellow of most of the scientific academies in India and also in the UK, Canada, and the USA. He is serving as honorary adjunct professor at Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences in India and at Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, India, and visiting professor in a number of countries at present. He has anchored more than 40 policy papers and vision documents nationally and globally in the related areas of food science and technology, food biotechnology, food safety, and issues of IPR and patents too. His team spirit of reaching out to tsunami victims is something to mention. He reached out to them in 2004 crisis in India with survival food packets for the affected 2,000 miles east coast of India using the knowledge of food science and technology is even today remembered nationally and globally. A modified approach which he and his team at CFTRI initiated earlier in nutritious food to school children has been fully supported by various state and federal governments in reaching nutrition to the needy as a mega program. His work on food proteins at basic level and his passion to hardcore protein science and compassion to the needy in use of oilseed meals, pulses, and millets and legumes in many healthy diets had a seamless usage with adaptable, affordable, and sustainable technologies. His motto of safe food for better nutrition, health, wellness, and happiness, including traditional foods, keeps him very busy globally and nationally as a down-to-earth, reach-out scientist. But he has taken out time for us and joined us here on the platform. We welcome you, sir, once again, and over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Nirja, for that exhaustive CV. I myself was not sure whether it is me or somebody else, but it's wonderful to be with all of you today morning on this very happy occasion. When my very dear friend, Dr. Kannauj, contacted me almost, I would say about close to a year back, I was thinking next year, who knows who will be present, who will not be present with all this COVID problem. But I think it is that happiness between us. It is the sharing, caring, nurturing, and culturing that still we are able to fight that, pandemic. And India didn't go through a phase of, epidemic to pandemic to endemic. India went into that phase, and now everybody is normal. And nobody is able to do research on how much happiness contributed to fighting the virus. I don't think there is any consolidated research, but I think the mind, the body, the immunity, the microbes in the gut, the spices that we eat, and so on. Let us not boast too much about it, but I still, as a practitioner of yoga for 61 years, and as a meditator for 69 years, right from the age of 3, I started meditating. I tell you there is something in it which we are not able to explain. Science is too young, 240 years old. Culture of 6,000 years has brought us happiness. So therefore, let us be happy. Let us continue this, the motive of Flora and Fauna Foundation. And they, along with the FTDC, along with Dr. Shuklaji, have been able to merge with the great networking from people like A.K. Singh, Manika, and many others. I could see Ashwini on the screen, and many others who really make a fantastic team. And this team is very difficult to create anywhere in the world except India. And because India has the tradition of to give back. Many of us are retired, but let me tell you, Dr. Kannauj has never seen me so busy after retirement. When I was in service, I was very focused. We even played table tennis and shuttlecock. Today, we don't have time because we are so busy. So very few people around the world are so busy to society. And I appreciate the FTDC's motto, the Food, Flora and Fauna Foundation motto, and amazing summit of innovation world really invigorates me, totally invigorates me into a new ball of cascading effects into my life and reflecting back. I didn't prepare for this talk too much because I thought if I prepare, it becomes monotonous. You get bored, I can tell you. I neither prepared slides because let me speak from the heart. And I have 30 minutes with me and I'm going to use it. And I want Manika, Neeraj, or Suman, or Shukla, AK Singh to stop me when it crosses 30 minutes anytime. Please feel free to. Let me start by telling Farming to Happiness Summit is a very unique summit. I would slightly modify it. Farming through happiness and happiness through farming. This is a very good cycle. Who is happy? People are happy. But when you do good farming, eco farming, as Dr. Kannauj mentioned, who is happy? The plants are happy. When plants are happy, when humans are happy, who else is happy? The whole ecosystem is happy. So including animals. So therefore, it's a very good cycle. Like just today morning, my very small garden, 9 feet by 9 inches garden. Okay. I touch those leaves. I grow Tinospora cardifolia. I grow borage Indian sage. When you touch them, there is a charge in you, just like your mobile recharger. So I think we all love that in terms of the methodology. In terms of methodology of using the world resources into a very selfish motto of the human being to take care.
I request the participants please put their mics on mute. I'm doing it from here.
I shall continue.
Yes,
Just a minute,
please.
just a minute. So, Mr. Vishnukant, you either mute yourself or leave the meeting.
Shall I continue?
Yes, now you can go.
Wonderful, wonderful. So therefore, let us look at farming as not in isolation. We have heard of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, now Jai Vignan, and Jai Vaidya. And these four people, groups of people, all of us, and we always say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guru can be not only just a guru who teaches you A, B, C, D, or I, E, but Guru can be anywhere in the form of parents, in the form of grandparents, in the form of a teacher, in the form of a friend who is much, much junior to you or senior, doesn't matter. Guru has no age barrier. A dog can be your guru because he teaches you faithfulness. You can never learn faithfulness from anybody as much as you learn from a dog. And it is not doing for a biscuit that you give, it is doing it out of love to the master. And therefore, it is very important to respect all areas without a bias and make sure that all these things do come to us. Today, we know that farming to happiness, I would like to categorize into 3 areas. Farmer to be happy, number 1. Number 2, consumer to be happy with the food he or she eats, right, including animals. So consumer, an animal is also a consumer. A bird is a consumer. A microbe is a consumer. So when I say consumer, it's a large ecosystem we are talking. And thirdly, the plants, because of farming we are talking, the plants have to be happy. So therefore, if these 3 ecosystems are happy, then what more do you want? Somebody will say the Panchabhutas have to be also kept happy. Air, water, fire, etc. But that is not in our control. We are talking what is in our control, right? But we have the control of destroying. That's our problem. We are not even creating it. Forget about encouraging it, nurturing it. We are destroying. So if we dabble with climate, by October 23rd, 2023, in Montreal, in the Climate Change Congress, I'll be giving a keynote address on climate change and food insecurity. And many points are going to be considered there. We don't any longer talk about insecurity, security. We talk about insecurity. How secure is your house? I know you've closed the front door, back door, but your window is so vulnerable that somebody pulls the grill, it is entrance to your house. So how insecure you are is more important than how secure you are. So security many times is misinterpreted. And therefore, let us address insecurity. And therefore, that is the kind of thing. To repeat, we will farmer to be happy, consumer to be happy, and plants have to be happy. And plants includes, the trees, everything. We are not calling about small paddy or wheat. We are talking about the tallest of the tall, including the coconut tree in the coastal areas. So therefore, when you look at the contribution of scientists, right, in today's society, vaccine for COVID-19 was not possible without scientists. You may say from industry, from laboratory, from CSR, from ICMR, from ICAR even, I would say, and so on and so forth. And these are borderless forces, really bringing in security. So therefore, we are grateful to scientists. Why we are grateful to scientists or their PhDs or their doctorate holders? I think we are grateful to the person who is cooking in the kitchen also. It may be you or me. Today, more men are cooking in the kitchen than women, maybe, because both are working. Why I'm telling cooking is food can never be eaten raw. I give you wheat at 1 o'clock for lunch. What you will do? You can't eat it. So you need to require a cooking. So cooking is a part of it. So therefore, without cooking, the whole flora and fauna cannot be used at all. Our doctors and medical fraternity, and at the same time our society, especially in the COVID-19, did not realize perhaps the importance of local food. Africa did not get vaccines. Africa could not import food. The entire Africa had less COVID than many other countries. Number one, they were isolated by themselves in villages.
Alka, you can mute yourself. Alka Srivastav, you can mute yourself.
So I muted them. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. Therefore, when we look at these episodes, we think I like what Dr. Suman said. Just by growing and harvesting, the job is not over. In fact, there is going to be so much of unhappiness after growing, because after growing is like delivering a baby. If you don't nurture the baby cannot grow forward. So here it is, we as urbanites are incapable of growing our own. Let us admit that once at least in our life. How many of us can grow our own food and eat? Don't go to the market. Try how much you can do. You will do one day, you will do next day, then you get exhausted. You grow your own potatoes, you grow your own onion, you grow your own paddy, wheat. You grind your own wheat into powder, make your roti. You can't do that. So don't you think to be happy, at least once a day, not for all, once a day, thank the person who grew that. He is not selfish. He grew for you. You may say he grew for money. Today we know, even when you are very rich, you couldn't buy food during COVID, right? You can't eat money. So when there was floods in Bangalore, the richest of the richest were starving. They were homeless with home. They were foodless with food. So it is not easy. So let us at least every day once, wherever you are, you may be in the flight, please pray for that farmer who very unselfishly grows that food. And whenever it is extra, he gives it to the market. And he's not ambitious to keep it everything for himself. So let us be at least grateful to him. But those of you who are growing your own food and eating, don't pray. I'm sure there is none here in this audience. None. Very difficult. Somewhere you will be dependent, right? So therefore, we may have a garden, home garden, but at what cost, what carbon footprint? You are using potable municipal water and growing some lemon, let us say. So that's all what you can do. So grateful to the farmer. And thus, the farmer many times has refused to give you grain. You know what is the condition. It's going to be a very big problem. So the humble request is once a day, happily pray to the farmer's happiness and his family's happiness every day. And we may do it for God, but God is good, but farmer requires the support of you. And therefore, my suggestion is, it is very important that we do. I will quickly shift it to another important area, that is water. We all talked about food, the growth of plants, minus water. The only one thing that can grow in salt water, is what? Coconut tree. So if there is no water to grow plants, there is no enough rain, you will end up with Sahara Desert and Thar deserts. So therefore, water is such an important one. Have we considered where is the shortage of water? I'm sure all of you will answer. How much water is there in Earth? Oh, 70% of Earth is water. I'm sorry. 70% of surface Earth with an average depth of 3 kilometers. You take a pump and pump it out, it's gone. So what we have, how much water by weight of Earth? 0.01%. It's infinitesimally small, including ocean water I'm talking. I will just mute my mic for half a minute. Some hawkers are putting the mic, so I don't want that to be interfering. Just bear with me for half a second.
So we cannot hear you. So can you unmute yourself?
You are on
We
mute.
cannot.
He himself has muted himself.
Yeah,
For
So
the
can
time,
you?
is there, is there.
is it? Yeah.
Okay.
He said he's muting him.
Okay. Yeah.
Perhaps he's demonstrating something.
Okay.
Monica, you have to unmute him now. He has sent that message. Yeah, please go ahead.
Got it. Thank you. Sorry for that interference. So therefore, the basic problem that we have today in the entire schematic of things is water understanding, the value of water. As ICR says and many others say, more crop per drop of water, right? And in doing so, when we look at water footprint, it amazes you. 1 kilogram of rice has 22,500 liters of water footprint. One chocolate has 1,700 liters of water consumption throughout its journey to you, including when it is excreted per 100 grams. Meat, 1,200 liters per 100 grams. Bread slice is 160 liters per bread slice of water. You are responsible when you eat one slice of bread. You have consumed 160 liters from production to processing to everything. Which is the least one, can you believe? Fruits and vegetables. No wonder our rishis were eating only fruits and vegetables, basically, and including potato. It's only 30 liters per 100 gram. I'm sure you all agree. There has been so much of knowledge base, not only consumption, but also its use in the chain. Therefore, it is important for us to know that we don't have 70% of water on this earth, on the surface only, like a swimming pool. Your campus doesn't have water only in the swimming pool, it has water. You take it off, it's gone. So water is very precious. Water is so precious that every drop you need to take care. Then only happiness will come. Otherwise, you end up with Thar Desert, Sahara Desert, and many other deserts. And therefore, number 2 point, very vital point to take home, is water conservation. Wherever you can, Gandhiji's principle of 1 lake or 1 pond per village, however big or small, including your own area, a park, there should be a conservation of water. That's very, very important. I would like to focus on that very differently because we ignore it. We say we got rain, but the question is, Punjab, for example, has today drained out all the borewell waters to so much. Number 1 in the world in draining out. It's our job to refill it. Doesn't matter. They grew the crop, gave it to us. We are happy. But now let us refill it. Let us take a corrective course of action to refill all the borewells. Then only happiness will come. When we think of all this, sustainability of flora, fauna in terms of innovation, the natural eco-agricultural system and the man-made situation today have grown uncontrollably high. The balance of managing good farming practices with minimum input has been a dream for many, but is just lost totally in many policies. This is the need of the hour for innovation. It is also true for maximum happiness with minimum. I want to emphasize this because we have the habit of eating to the satisfaction of our mind. So in fact, each one of us can almost do with half the quantity that we were eating when we were young. As you get old, one knows that the quantity you eat is very less. But you are still happy. You are still happy. You are still energetic. You are not, groaning with hunger pain. So therefore, how do you develop the habit of minimum eating and maximum happiness? Very important. Very important. It's not the maximum eating, my satiety, and then I'm happy. How do you enjoy each bite? How do you crunch each bite? Shuklaji said about sensory evaluation. When I bite an orange, I should enjoy in my mouth for a couple of seconds at least before swallowing. What we do? In a traffic light, we open an orange and we eat it. No, there is a method. So you have to get maximum happiness with minimum food eating. And the way you eat is also not to attain the belly satisfaction. It is not the mind satisfaction. It is the heart satisfaction. It takes a while. In Sanskrit, we say mita. Mita is, there's no English translation for the word mita. Mita is mita. I don't want to translate it because you can't translate. Mita is moderation. Some people say, I don't agree. Mita is everything in good balance. Yeah. So therefore, it is very, very important for us to have maximum happiness with minimum food. It should be cultivated. It is possible. And that makes a lot of difference in what we are talking about individual contribution. Somebody will say, what if I do that, so many people are throwing food? Well, first you do take care of yourself, your family, your friends, and slowly it will percolate. Maximum happiness with minimum food. So that's very, very important. To do that, entrepreneurships have also to be considered. They can't be neglected in this chain. Just the farmer and the consumer cannot be the two ends. In between, we have the entrepreneurs. Why? Entrepreneurs are not made by society. Let me tell you. Society doesn't form a big processing plant. Society needs that entrepreneur. It's one liking for doing a job. And entrepreneurs are very dedicated. You may say they work for profit, But that's fine. As long as they're working, as my dear friend Dr. Mr. Dangayat says from ITF, Shubh Labh, as long as they have Shubh Labh, we have to respect. We have to respect. They are doing a service. They're not only doing some profit because they have to survive, they have to pay their employees. But as long as they're doing Shubh Labh, you must be really happy. And therefore, these entrepreneurs, not only farming plants, rearing animals, and using many other proper, the splendid bowl of nature, but also many people go to the extent of exploiting the nature. I like what Kannauj said in terms of exploiting the nature, over-exploiting. So therefore, we have to be very careful. Who is a good entrepreneur? Who keeps in mind the eco-balance, the moderation, and maximum happiness with minimum food. I'm talking about food business. I'm not talking about IT business or so on right now. So it is important to innovate entrepreneurship, to learn from nature with the concept of Shubh Labh. I have to be honest. I have to have some profit, but I will give a safe food. I will do this way, and that's the way that need to be done. And as it stands today, you all remember how we all fought. Dr. Kannauj was also a part of it in CSR. We fought the Basmati patent. What did we mean by fighting Basmati patent against US and win? First of all, we did not have to fight. They filed the patent, and we found, what was the basic document we supplied, both in turmeric patent and in Basmati patent? It was Charaka Samhita and Sushrata Samhita. The argument came, you didn't put it on the website. So 25 years back, there was a website of CSR, TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. Anybody can give information. There are traditional knowledge of which is not to be copied by others. But if you copy, we are more happy. If you copy, we are more happy. But don't take a patent and make us pay $1 per kilogram of basmati rice. So when we fought, but I lost 18 months of my life staying in Science Center without visiting family in Mysore. And tooth and nail, what happened? The end result is the 2-acetyl pyrroline, which they claimed 2,000 parts per million in basmati rice, was grown in Mukteshwar and Dehradun area, almost 4,000 parts per million. So India has that richness. And today, we also know South India, the same basmati, you bring it to South India and plant, it won't give you aroma. It'll give you long gray, but no aroma. No aroma at all. So what does a man in Udupi say? He will say, look here, I add pandana leaves to that. Tradition, culture gives you, he doesn't know 2-acetyl pyrroline pandana leaves has. So what a tradition, right? When you cannot grow basmati in South because of the whole climate that it requires, a slope, a quick cooling in the night, in the hills of Himalayas, in the slopes. South doesn't have that kind of a condition. But same thing with coffee, you cannot grow in the slopes of Himalaya. So therefore, food is very, very complex when it comes to, it is not a surgery and made up of, people say, what is food? Protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamin, mineral. I'm sorry, set it aside, set it aside. Food has many other ingredients. An apple a day, people say, keeps the doctor away. My feeling is, a banana a day keeps the diseases away. Which one you want, you take a chance. So banana is 365 days a year. And there are 3,000 to 3,500 varieties of banana in our country. Each region has a specialty banana. So we have to really look at our ways of practical in terms of soil, air, water, sun rays, and nutrition for the plants and parts, and also the food, how much we harvest. I see totally there is a symphony of orchestra in this architecture of nature, especially in plants. We are attending the symphony every day, but we are not hearing the music. We don't have ear to the music. We need to hear that symphony. And tune is there, the tal is there, the lyrics are there, And we need to adjust to that and move forward. If we sing our own song that the plant cannot dance like us because it doesn't have feet, the plant can only shake its head. So therefore, the symphony that we have in nature, we must understand that music and swing our head towards that to get happiness. So therefore, it is very important to hear the music of a tree. I don't know how many of you have heard music of a tree. Hear it when the wind blows. Each tree has a different music. Yeah, so amazing. Now I shift over to Sangar and satiety in the last 11 minutes. Food is better tasting when you are hungry. You all agree with me, right? When you are hungry, give me any food. I say, oh my God, what a wonderful. When I'm full, I don't want any food. You give me amrit. I'll say, I'm not hungry. I don't think I like it. So food is subjective to the hunger. So who is going to be the happiest person then? Tell me when he eats food. The person who was hungry. So happiness for him is much more than some of us who eat 4 meals a day. And therefore, how much India has to grow per day? India has to supply 4 billion meals, whether Saturday, Sunday, Independence Day, Republic Day, whatever day, 4 billion meals a day is there, has to be there. And whether you eat in a restaurant or in your own kitchen or by any means, you have to have 4 billion meals a day, raw materials grown 3 months before sowing and watering and harvesting, transporting, processing. You can't eat wheat, you have to make it a flour. So you can't eat paddy, you have to make it rice. All that is planned and supplied to you. What a great country. Have we ever thanked the whole system? It's a political, this their job. No, they cannot. They need not also do. You can see in many countries that is not done, even though they're politicians. So I think India is really, we are grateful. Even in COVID, we didn't have a short supply of food. We didn't import food. So therefore, when you look at the contribution of Professor M.S. Swaminathan, Varghese Kurian, to make us not beg food, but to stand on our own leg and grow, we must be grateful to the agricultural scientists, to the scientific community. On the one side, farmers, the other side, the agricultural scientists and other scientists in the veterinary section, all the way. Therefore, when we do all this, where does the other happiness come from? Food digestion. You eat a food, you can't digest it. What will happen? You hate the food. Your happiness is gone. We seldom understand how much of happiness is there when it is easily digested. That means your gut microbiome, your gut system, all the garbage that you put in handles it very nicely and extrudes it in such a way that you are happy. So your happiness doesn't come only up to this. Below this, till it goes out, you must be happy. So therefore, the whole system is cooperating with you for happiness. Happiness from food is my topic. Therefore, I'm focusing. Innovate to eat differently. Don't change your habit of eating how much you can enjoy. You may be the last one to get up. Maybe you have to remove all the vessels yourself. Do it. But I'll tell you, the slower you eat, with more enjoyment, less talking, enjoy every bite. Because the next bite you may not be alive. Who knows? Enjoy every bite. Get the maximum happiness. You know what? You try. You eat in a hurry, you eat more food. You eat slowly, you eat less food. But you get 10 times more enjoyment. And you remember how your mother was cooking, how your grandmother was cooking. I call it GMT food, grandmother's touch. GMT is not Greenwich Mean Time. Grandmother's touch. When you eat something, oh my God, this is exactly how my grandmother was doing. Happiness. You go back in time, chewing. You come back after 1 minute. What a happiness. You talk to your grandmother and say, Mom, today I eat a chutney that you are making. What a happiness. What a happiness. So have we done that every day? Are we doing it? Are we looking at, oh, this was my daughter also prepares. My wife prepares like this. This is great. But at the same time, I would also call the men folks' attention. Please learn cooking. Don't leave it to the rest of the household. There is enjoyment in cooking. You see, you may say, who is telling you? See, former director of safety. But let me tell you, that has nothing to do with it. You must enjoy to cut a vegetable. There is a sound in each vegetable when you cut. That sound is very enjoyable orchestra. There is a cut when you cut a brinjal, you get a sound. But there are some vegetables which don't make sound at all, very silent. So you need to really enjoy doing these things. And there's an advantage of doing all those things. Therefore, please innovate differently how to eat. Please make sure you eat properly and remember everything in your life. That brings me to traditional foods and practices leading to reverse epidemiology of food. Not reverse epidemiology of just the population, but reverse epidemiology of food itself. So therefore, when you look at this reverse epidemiology of 6,000 years, the human trials are already over. You don't have to do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials. It's done. If today FDA wants us to prove that rice is good for us, otherwise it's toxic, show me it's not toxic. Conduct phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials. Are we going to do it? He said, sorry, our system has shown we have been using rice for more than 5,000 years. So there is a record. And I'm glad some of the institutions are documenting that very well, very well. So therefore, if there is a documentation available like Charaka, Shushruta, Bhava Prakasha, Ahara Adhikaranam, and Bhojana Kutuhalam, I tell you, these are our records, our documents. These are not imagination of an individual. These are documents. You can really do that. So therefore, when you really look at such measures, you also have a better way of living with traditional food, because traditional food has to be looked at as though it is handed over from 3,000 to 4,000 years back. And today you're still eating it. So much of food. Therefore, we talk about, last thing I want to talk is food culture. The food culture covers from seed to the need, from seed to the mouth, from seed to the sewage, all the way. It completely covers the food culture, covers the entire journey from microbiome in the soil all the way to gut biome. So my gut feeling is the journey from seed all the way to the microbiome in your stomach and to go out of it is amazing journey called food culture. And that food culture, it depends upon what flora and fauna. You can't have one flora and one fauna and live the rest of your life. You require hundreds, thousands of them. So food is very complex because it is combinatorial. I give you one cauliflower raw. Please survive on that for 365 days. You can't. You require so many other foods, so many other spices. So this whole food culture, please remember, is something that has innovated in our scheme over time immemorial. Don't forget. In terms of innovation, which is one of the subject of this in the food culture, there are three things. One is innovation. The second is incremental innovation. The third is delta incremental innovation. Yeah. So when you take nimbu and put a pickle, the innovation is over, pickling. But you add something else to it, it is delta innovation. When you add something else to it, which is further better, it is incremental innovation about the delta one, or the delta one over the incremental innovation. It keeps on going. It never stops, never stops. That's why I said, as a farmer, as a scientist, as a doctor, as even anybody, please enter the kitchen. Try your hand in innovation. You may be thrown out of the kitchen, but please try your hand in innovation of new things, because that brings you happiness. The topic is happiness. My God, I didn't know. Just adding a little bit of seasoning of mustard to my pickle, totally changed. If I add mustard oil, I get the taste. If I add rice bran oil, I don't get the taste. My God, I have found it. But you refer, tradition has already used. So you are a bacha. You are a bacha. So makes your ego go away. So please remember, this is a learning process, and this learning, thing never fails. I'd like to touch upon the bee, the honeybee. It goes from flower to flower, pollinates, does so much social service. Have you given it Padma Shri? Have you given it Padma Bhushan? Why it is doing it? It is doing it because I tell you, there is an enjoyment in it. It goes to a flower, filters it. Oh my God, this I like it. Maybe my queen bee may like it. So it takes away that. So it selects in happiness because of its harvesting in happiness. Both are HH. Harvesting in happiness, the end product is sweet. If it is harvesting in vengeance against a mother bee or a queen bee, it won't be honey. It will be money. It will be money. And that's what is happening in the society. I would like to wind up by telling that all this requires management of food. Management of food in the system of medicine, in the system of Ayush, which is a new ministry, that is Ayurveda, Unani, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and homeopathy. But I would also like to add one more is allopathy added to that, because without modern science, you can't really do anything. When I say allopathy, it's not drug, but it is the modern science that should go with it. Yeah? Not to prove the ancient wisdom, but to understand the ancient wisdom. We are not here proving that dokla is healthy. It takes 5 years to prove that. No, you understand what is dokla. Where did it come from? Like idli came from Indonesia, for all your information. It is not an Indian dish. It came from Indonesia, way back. It traveled via Burma, traveled via Northeast, came to West Bengal, Orissa, traveled to Andhra Pradesh, came to southern Karnataka, then came to northern Kerala, then it settled somewhere there. So we claim idli is our. Go back to Dr. K.T. Achaya's book on traditional food. He traces it back to Indonesia, where they were making in leaves. Idli was steamed in leaves. Why? There are two in jackfruit leaves. It stays for 5 days in jackfruit leaves when you make. So immediately myself and people like Kanuja, both of us will extract the juice of jackfruit leaf and put it to idli and say, now we can make it. It won't. So it is amazing how culture, food, tradition, practices, wisdom, and the nurturing of that to preserve it for the next generation, which we are not doing. So I would like you, if you have enjoyed a food, please preserve it for the next your grandchildren. They may not like it, but their children may like it. So kindly. I would say food without exercise, whatever is your happiness is temporary. Okay. So therefore, you need to exercise to digest your food. What is the trick of happiness in eating food? You must be hungry. When do you have to eat food? Oh, breakfast 8 o'clock, lunch 12 o'clock, dinner at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Who said? The lion never has a timing. There is no need to you eat when you are hungry. Is there any problem? Especially for retirees, I'm telling, for the farmer. The farmer has to work early in the morning and he eats the evening food. So I would say, please eat when you are hungry. Then you will get more happiness when you eat. When you are full, you are loading yourself, there'll be very less and less happiness. You take more tablets than food. And Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. But he also added a wrong thing. I would say, I'm bold enough to say that. Very few can say, let the medicine be thy. I don't think it is correct. We as Indians, we would say, let food be thy medicine. We stop it there. Let medicine be, not be your food. That is, everybody knows when you are in helpless state, that will happen. But why in a daily life, food is thy medicine? And therefore, use that and do a lot of exercise, including the exercise of mind, exercise of the body, in bringing in harmony with the symphony of the orchestra of nature. Thus, connecting flora and fauna to happiness with food is not that easy, but it is doable. And at the same time, the nutrition, the nutraceutical, and the local flora has to be really respected. And I think it is the local technology which will solve the global problem and not the global technology for local problems. Very important. I like when Dr. Kannauj said one of his colleagues goes to the village. What he's doing is he's stabilizing the local technology so that the local solutions becoming global solution and not the global solution becoming local problems. Somebody makes something globally, puts here in my village, destroys my crop, destroys my microbiome. So therefore, endangered species, tiger, leopard. Has anybody seen endangered species of microbes in the forest? How much we have lost in microbes? And do we think still the flora and fauna will be happy with us? No, flora and fauna is waiting to take revenge on us. How much microbes are lost? We don't have an encyclopedia. But we know how many tigers are there. We know how many elephants are there. So therefore, please respect those microbes which you cannot see. I would end up by telling Dr. Kannauj, Dr. Shukla, and Dr. AK and Manika, it's important to say that the purpose of this talk is to help you to know the beneficial sector of food. At the same time, through fair and clean practices with a transparent way. Of course, there is a finance needed, but shubha. But at the same time, not to complicate, to make easier for implementation at the farmer's level and not to confuse him more. Learn from the farmer than teaching him all. Learn from the farmer. He is very experienced. He has got several generations of experience. And we have only one generation of experience. So therefore, push towards self-sustainability and culture and also interactive mechanism on a basis. What flora and fauna innovation system is doing, hats off to them, hats off to them. It's not easy to bring India into this forum, but you are doing it, I'm happy. And FFDC is also doing from the small scale system. India is small scale industry, right? In COVID time, you didn't get multinational supply food. It's the Kirana shop that supplied food. And it's the small scale industry, medium scale industry, women industry, the home industry, the cottage industry, village industry that supplied you, not the multinational company. They all stood way away. They closed their factories, waited till Corona goes away. We didn't do. Our farmer worked during COVID. So therefore, he should be really the God that we should really pray him. I would end up by telling, it's only when this happens that the public at large and the Atmanirbhar Bharat determination comes to individual. It won't go as our Honorable Prime Minister always says. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not for only technology. It is your determination, you, capital U, and not others. First, you correct yourself, you be ethical, you have everything done right, then you teach others. I'll wind up by saying in Yoga Sutra, there is a formula because I'm a practitioner of yoga. You have to learn yoga under a proper guru and then practice it for 18 years. Then you want to teach to your child. He should have passed. You want to teach to others. You first teach your son or daughter. And if you don't have any son or daughter, you start teaching your wife. If you don't have a wife, your relative, pick up somebody, teach for 18 years. And if nothing happens, you teach others. Today, what we do, we don't teach ourselves, we directly start teaching others. So with this, whatever I have talked is, I have really talked my walk. I have not done anything other than talking what I have experienced in my life as a scientist, continue to do so. So I have just talked my walk. So I have not walked my talk. I have talked my walk. So it was very easy for me to do that. So with that, I took a little bit more time because when I see bright faces around of people and my dear friends also like Kannauj and Shuklaji and others, I get enthused and I can speak for hours together, but that's not the intention. And I enjoyed giving this talk, let me tell you. There was happiness from the heart that I'm sharing because you care for it, I know. That's why. So that caring and nurturing is sharing. And that's something that brings me happiness. If food brings you happiness, all of your talk, all of your discussion must bring at the end of the day the happiness. and please don't retain it for that day and forget it. So please enjoy every day. Every day is so happy day, let me tell you. Bright sun, amazing, amazing. I feel so sorry. The day is passing away. So you feel guilty and you must feel happy. Whatever may be that there are unhappiness time and so on, but it will come back. It will come back. And if farming doesn't give you happiness, I don't know what else can give you happiness. Even the most dedicated technologies must do in a 1 acre farming. Just like the doctors serving in villages, everybody who is educated must do farming in villages for 1 year. Let us see, why not? This should be our motto. Then I tell you, there are less psychological patients, more happiness, they understand the problems, more solutions. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I've taken more time than what intended. Apologize for that. Thanks for this opportunity. May God bless you with a very, very firm goal that you have to serve the villagers. Thank you very much, both the FTDC and also the Food, Flora and Fauna Innovation System. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an exemplary idea. It was indeed an invigorating talk. We traveled through time with you and understood the symphony of nature. We also understood the importance of cherishing the meal instead of mindless eating. And you showed us a whole new dimension of happiness. Thank you again and again for accepting our request to join the forum. Thank you, sir. Now, may I please request Professor S.P.S. Kannauj to present the flag of honor to the chief guest and put his thoughts forward.
Thank you, Manika. Congratulations, Dr. Prakash. It was just mesmerizing. I can't define it in words, the way you have explained the happiness. And you touched all corners of happiness. A real good thing that you did, I will like to tell in Hindi to many of the farmers who have been listening to you, कि आज डॉक्टर प्रकाश ने हमको जो बताया वो एक मेडिटेशन ही था, वो एक ध्यान ही था, और मैं तो उस मेडिटेशन में चला गया था। और उस मेडिटेशन में जो अच्छे अच्छे जो बिंदु बताए, उनमें सबसे जो महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु है वो है कि हैप्पीनेस कहाँ से आएगी। 3 बातें बताई डॉक्टर प्रकाश ने। फार्मर्स यानी कि कृषक, किसान, वो खुश हो, कंज्यूमर, उपभोक्ता या हम सब जो खाना खाते हैं, जो आहार लेते हैं या जो उपयोग करते हैं कृषि के उत्पादों का, वो खुश हो, और पौधे जो कि एक स्रोत हैं जहां से ये सब कुछ आ रहा है, वो खुश हो। अगर आप इन 3 को खुश कर सकते हो तो खुशी अपने आप हमारे घरों में, हमारे जीवन में बहेगी। और मैं ये समझता हूँ, उन्होंने कहा भी कि पौधों से उनका मतलब केवल पेड़ों से नहीं है, छोटे से लेकर बड़ा, विजिबल से लेके इनविजिबल। इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो सूक्ष्म जीवी हैं वो भी खुश होने चाहिए, जो कि उन्होंने अपने व्याख्यान के अंत में अच्छे तरीके से भी समझाया कि अगर माइक्रोबायोटा खुश नहीं होगा तो आप नहीं खुश होंगे। वो हो सकता है आपको क्योंकि दिखाई नहीं देते हैं तो आप उसकी तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं। टाइगर्स अगर कम होते हैं तो हमें दिखाई देते हैं। माइक्रोबायोटा या माइक्रोबायोम जो है, चाहे वो जड़ों के पास हो, मिट्टी में, मृदा में हो, या हमारे शरीर में जिनको हम प्रोबायोटिक के रूप में भी लेते हैं उस रूप में हो, हम सभी का जो मेटाबॉलिज्म है वो उसी पर निर्भर करता है। इसलिए अगर हम मेटाबॉलिकली खुश हैं तो हम खुश हैं, और वो तभी होगा जब हम इन सभी कंपोनेंट्स का, इन सभी भागों का ध्यान देंगे। और उसके साथ साथ उन्होंने वातावरण की भी बात करी, और उस वातावरण का एक अंग बताया जल, वाटर, कि अगर पानी की अगर हम कीमत नहीं समझ सकते तो हम जो खाते हैं उसमें कितना पानी लगा है, कितने लीटर्स, कितने हजारों लीटर्स लगा है, उन्होंने बताया। फसलों का भी बताया, एक ब्रेड स्लाइस का भी बताया। और फिर उसको उन्होंने कंपेयर किया कि हम जब फ्रूट खाते हैं, जो ऋषि मुनि फ्रूट खाते थे, तो वो 30-40 लीटर में 100 ग्राम आता था, और जब हम मीट खा रहे हैं या चावल खा रहे हैं तो ये हजारों लीटरों में पानी जा रहा है। तो कैसे हम इसका एक संतुलन बनाएंगे, ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण है। तो कंजर्वेशन ऑफ वाटर बनाने से किस तरीके से हम इकोसिस्टम को खुश करेंगे, और उस इकोसिस्टम से फ्लोराफोना यानी कि सभी जीव जंतु, माइक्रोब से लेकर हायर प्लांट्स, हायर एनिमल्स और लोअर एनिमल्स, लोअर प्लांट्स, सभी उसमें इंक्लूडेड है, वो खुश होने चाहिए। लेकिन साथ में ये भी बताया कि खुश होने के लिए आपको खुश होना होगा। आप खुश इसलिए नहीं होंगे कि आपको कुछ मिला है, और खास तौर पे जब हम फूड्स फॉर हैप्पीनेस कह रहे हैं या आहार से खुशी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें है कि आप जब खाना खाते हैं तो उसका मजा लीजिए। जितना धीरे खाएंगे उतना अच्छा आपको लगेगा। सो रिलिश योर फूड, एक उन्होंने बात बताई जिसमें कम से कम भोजन से, कम से कम आहार से आप अधिक से अधिक प्रसन्नता प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। जब आप उसको समय देकर, जब आपको भूख लगी होती है तब आप खाते हैं, तो भूख लगने का कारण बनाना चाहिए। और कारण उन्होंने अंत में भी बताया कि सिर्फ खाने से कुछ नहीं होगा, आपको एक्सरसाइज भी करनी है ताकि आपको एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट हो, और तब आपका शरीर कहेगा कि हमें खाना चाहिए। और वहीं ऑर्गेनोलेप्टिक जो हमारे समझने की जो हमारी इंद्रियां हैं, जो देखती हैं क्या इसका स्वाद है, क्या इसकी खुशबू है, वो बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण हो जाते हैं। और उन्होंने जो इको एग्रीकल्चर का दूसरा भाग है इकोनॉमिक्स, उसको शुभ लाभ के द्वारा समझाया कि शुभ लाभ किस तरीके से महत्वपूर्ण है। उसमें लालच की बात नहीं है, उसमें ग्रोथ की बात है, उसमें विकास की बात है। और जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण उसमें फिर आएगा वो कृषक ही है, क्योंकि कृषक अन्नदाता है। कृषक को भगवान के बाद उन्होंने पहला माना, क्योंकि कृषक जो है वो आपको अपने केवल भोजन के लिए नहीं उगा रहा है फसल को, वो आपके लिए भी उगा रहा है और आप उसी पर निर्भर हैं। और उसमें एक गुण श्रृंखला बनती है, वैल्यू चेन, जिसमें प्रोसेसिंग भी आती है, कुकिंग भी आती है। आजकल जैसे मास्टर शेफ प्रोग्राम वगैरह आते हैं, उसमें भी रेसिपीज डिस्कस कर रहे होते हैं। लेकिन उसमें भी आप देखोगे कि जो जीतते हैं वो ट्रेडिशन से जीतते हैं। ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज जो है, कैसे कुक करना है, जिसको जीएमटी के रूप में डॉक्टर प्रकाश ने बताया कि ग्रैंड मदर जो तरीके हैं वो किस तरीके से जो आपकी दादी माँ बनाती थी, मदर बनाती हैं, या इवन बच्चे बनाते हैं, उससे आप फूड को जब रिलेट करने लग जाते हैं, वो तभी होता है जब आपके पास समय है, आप धीरे धीरे खाना खा रहे हैं, हर जो निवाला है, एवरी बाइट यू आर एंजॉयिंग, देन इट मेक्स लॉट ऑफ सेंस। और इसलिए ट्रेडिशनल विजडम से लेकर मॉडर्न साइंस को जोड़ते हुए, और जो आपका भोजन है उसको इस तरीके से बनाते हुए कि वो ना केवल आपके लिए हो, दूसरों के लिए भी हो, और एक्सपोर्ट तक जाए, आप लोकल टू ग्लोबल जा सकते हैं, तो हर तरीके की खुशी आपके पास आएगी। तो डॉक्टर प्रकाश, आई एम सॉरी इफ आई लेफ्ट एनी पॉइंट which you wanted to convey, but I thought it will be essential that those who want to understand in Hindi, I must summarize that.
No, you did better than me, Kannauj. So well, so well. I'm happy. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Prakash. On this occasion, we don't have words, but we will like to express our gratitude by presenting to you this small citation as a gesture from Florafauna. And from today onwards, you have become our distinguished member also of Florafauna Science Foundation.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Manika, you can move now.
Thank you, sir. At this juncture, I request Dr. A.K. Singh sir to please take over for the release of Flora Sarthi magazine.
Thank you, Dr. Manika.
Sir, I've given you the handling command, so you can also.
Just a minute, Dr. Manika. I will first tell something about Flora Sarthi. Flora Sarthi is a 6-monthly magazine being published by Florafauna Science Foundation for last about 4 years. And today, it will be 8th issue, that is January 2023 issue, which will be released in a short while from now by our chief guest, Dr. V. Prakash, our founder chairperson, Dr. Kannauj, and Mr. Shakti Suklaji, who are present there in this panel, Aarambh session. This Florafauna Science Foundation's magazine, Flora Sarthi, it publishes a founder's note on very important topic in each issue. Like in this issue, it talks about food innovations. And you will all see when it will reach to you. And then it also publishes articles contributed by our members and outside, from institutions also, who are very knowledgeable person in different fields of their expertise. And then we also publish the activities undertaken by Florafauna Science Foundation during the last 6 months. It's a 6-monthly magazine. It publishes articles concerning with the सक्सेस स्टोरीज, किसानों की जो सफलता की कहानियां होती है, उद्यमियों की जो सफलता की कहानियां होती हैं। इस बार भी आप देखेंगे कि हमने कोशिश की है कि 2 किसानों की सफलता की कहानियां, और इसके अलावा जो हमारे कोलैबोरेटर हैं आज के फ्लोराफोना साइंस फाउंडेशन के जो समिट है, उसके फ्रेग्रेंस एंड फ्लेवर डेवलपमेंट सेंटर के जो उन्होंने एडिटोरियल कंट्रीब्यूट किया है, उसमें भी करीब 5-6 उद्यमियों की सफलता की कहानियां उसे प्रकाशित की गई। उसके अलावा जो हमारे एडवर्टाइजर्स हैं, जो एडिटोरियल्स कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं और जिनका सपोर्ट हमें सदैव मिलता रहा है, जिसमें कि फूड इनोवेशंस या स्काइज इंडिया लिमिटेड एंड इमराल्ड 9 ग्रुप्स ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशंस, सुगंधिम, दैट्स अ सब्सिडियरी ऑफ निशांत एरोमास मुंबई, and then I should name Swaraj Herbal Plants, Barabanki, who all are contributing regularly for the cause of publication of this magazine, which is being published both in, it contains articles in English and also in Hindi. So, Dr. Monica, would you like to share some of the phases of this magazine, particularly the cover page and few of the pages of the beginning, such as content, and where we'll all see about which I have just talked about.